Tokon.
Good afternoon, what's up? This is Batman333 and we're here with another video today, and we're going to be playing a little bit of the long-awaited beta for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, new collaborative and Arc System Works, the guys that do Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and a slew of other games, Blaze Blue, all those Grand Blue Fantasy. You know, they have their sort of like own unique style of fighting game, and this is the era of like basically tag fighters, because there's been a lot of new releases on new tag fighter games that are sort of in the same vein as Marvel vs. Capcom, you know, Invincible versus, you know, there's a slew of these games out now. The 2XKO, that's sort of, you know, coming out with the aspect of having like multiple fighting characters that you can play at the same time. But what makes this one unique is that this is the first game to ever do a 4v4 tag fighter, so it's going to be interesting to take a look at it. Me personally, I've been anticipating this game being released. I didn't get to play in the last beta, but I did get to participate in the Invincible versus beta, or closed alpha, whatever they want to call it, which basically lets you, you know, kind of check out the game features, the mechanics. Sometimes they're a little bare bones. Other times, you know, there's just going to be some things that aren't going to be working. So, full disclosure, this is a closed beta, so this isn't representative of the final product. You know, but some of the new things that they added in this recent version of the beta is, one, they've allowed a lot more people to play, and they're doing it where there's no interruptions, because I believe the last beta there was some sort of like anytime they needed to adjust something, they would shut the servers down for a bit and then turn them back on so that the few players that were in that test could play. So that's cool. Another thing is they've adjusted some gameplay elements to the tag system. I think they just changed some, you know, ways that the tag and assist work. So we'll take a look at that. And also they added Spider-Man and I believe Ghost Rider as far as playable characters in here. You know, it's still unknown what the final roster count is going to be. You know, with this being a 4v4 game, you know, that could lead to them doing a lot more characters, hopefully down the road. But they give you a pretty decent number to start with. And, you know, like I said, Ghost Rider and Spider-Man are new additions to playable characters. A lot of times when they have those game shows like the, not Game Awards, but, you know, they had like the EVO fighting events and, you know, things like that. They had play tests of this on, you know, on site there at those events. And so this will be the first time that a lot of us have actually been able to get our hands and, you know, take a look and, you know, check it out for ourselves. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. I'll be doing a breakdown like I usually do, and we'll take a look at the mechanics, and maybe we'll play a few matches, and then I'll just kind of give my thoughts and everything. So let's take a look at Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls closed beta. So this beta is going to last until about 11:59 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So that leaves us today until basically midnight tomorrow. So I've already started the game, but initially when you first turn the game on, it allows you to set up your like username or your screen name and everything, and then it takes you into basically the tutorial. So let's take a look at that. And backgrounds and sort of like little Easter eggs and things are going to be throughout the visuals of the game. But what makes it different is that this is done sort of like in an anime style. So the characters are kind of, you know, these are designs that have never before been seen. The only closest thing would be something like Marvel Rivals, where, you know, it's also got sort of like a Asian twist on the Marvel, you know, designs and whatnot. So it's all going to be in Japanese. I don't know if they're going to do like language, you know, options for the audio, but I mean, I dig it. I think it's pretty cool. Only thing is, like, when you're playing the actual game, they're saying a lot of stuff and you have no idea what they're saying unless you know, happen to speak Japanese, but that's okay. They do give subtitles when the characters sort of come in the intros and things like that, so. But I think it'd be kind of cool to get at least you know, English voice actors to do some of the stuff. But I think it's kind of more in line like with Arc System Works games anyways. You know, all their characters have, you know, sort of speak in Japanese and whatnot. But I can recall some of them having options to have like English audio. I don't remember. I haven't played any of the games in a little bit. Alright, so about Startup Battle. So, Startup Battle teaches you about the battle mechanics. Okay, so these are just going to be like this, you know, stereotypical, you know, this is how you move your character around, so we'll just kind of get into that. Now, one of the other things that makes this game unique is that it's sort of like in that realm of modern fighters, you know, a lot of fighting game companies are doing with their games, which is they're trying to make it so that you can jump right in and play even if you have no experience whatsoever playing typical fighting game, you know, your Street Fighters and Tekkens and things like that. They do allow for motion controls, but the way that they do the inputs is just basically you have some buttons, you press something, and you press a direction, and it does something cool, you know. So that's how most of these fighting game, modern fighting games work now. That seems to be sort of the like controversy, though. Some people kind of feel like it alienates the, you know, the hardcore fighting gamers out there, you know, by oversimplifying the inputs. But I don't seem to mind it too much as long as it makes the game fun and it doesn't make it too, you know, too like you're on autopilot. And that's sort of, I think, what the stipulation is with this game, is that a lot of people feel like the characters are being carried by the system mechanics, and you're not really in control of your sort of like expression of the character, you know. But we'll take a look and we'll dive into that. I mean, I have my thoughts on how I feel about this aspect of the game. But yeah, I got walking, you got dashing, which is mapped to a button. Normally in fighting games you have dash, which you do forward, and then back dashes are just back. But they've mapped the dash to the buttons, and I believe if you did it manually, you can press like maybe the light and then the medium attack button, and that'll kind of accomplish the same thing, but they just give you a macro where it's just those buttons there. One thing is that some games, you know, when they have this mechanic of dashing, they have what's called wave dashing, which is where you can kind of go back and forth continually. This game doesn't seem to have that. As you do a dash, it just lunges the character forward where you do a run, but then once you stop it, you can't, you know, go back into a back dash immediately. It kind of stops. So you gotta, if you're used to those types of games, you know, where you can kind of just continually go back and forth, you know, with the dashing, kind of like 2x KO or even the Marvel games, you're gonna have to break that habit. So just be aware that if you try to do, you know, a wave dash of some sorts, which is what they call that technique, it doesn't seem to be apparent here in this game. But we got walk back, we're gonna do crouch, for how you can block high by holding back and holding back down to block low. And then we'll just walk forward here. Go to the next thing. All right, jumping. So they've got. I don't think they have super. Oh yeah, they have super jumps. So if you just do a jump by pressing up, you'll just do that. But if you do like down up, like really quick, you'll do like a super jump. So that seems to be standard in most fighting games, especially if it's like a tag fighter where you got like a lot of things going on the screen at the same time. This just seems to be a standard thing that games do. But you have also double jump. So if you jump and then at the apex or the peak of your jump, you just press up again, you do that. Now I don't think all characters have that, but because I think they're, for some of the mobility stuff, they give some unique changes to certain characters. I'm not sure which of those changes there are, because I think for instance, there might be a character they may not have a air dash or even like a forward run. They might just teleport or stuff like that. So, but we'll go ahead and get to the next thing here. Now normal move. So, yep, here's your attack execution buttons, which is your light, medium, and heavy attacks. Mapped on. I'm playing on PS5. I believe the beta is only on PS5. I'm not sure. It could be on PC as well. But it's we're going to use the PlayStation mapping, which is square, triangle, and circle. That'll be your light, medium, and heavy attacks. And those are the only physical attack buttons that you have. So it's not like it's a 6-button fighting game or in terms of like the strengths of the attacks. But there are some other buttons that we'll get into here in just a moment. So in line with, again, modern fighters, it's like anime fighters and just mostly any game where they want accessibility as sort of the focal point. You can sort of mash on the light attack and he'll go into some combo, but they also do this for the other strengths too. So like if I went to the medium and mashed that a couple times, that'll do like a combo, and then circle or heavy attack will also do the same thing. If you notice in the background here, they got Fogwell's gym, so this is sort of like a nod to Daredevil and things like that, which is kind of cool. And I think if I can jump up, I don't know if I can, but up here there's tentacles or whatever is I believe Shumagorath, big like octopus looking thing from from the Chaos dimension. That's kind of cool. And I'm not sure what this is, but I think that might be Daredevil right there in the window actually. Matt Murdock, that's cool. Yeah. Alright, so let's see here. Oh yeah, just the attack. So sure, light attack, medium. You can do low attacks, you got pop-ups, so that's a down heavy. Then you got your standing. And then they don't do like where you can hold back and hit an attack button to give you variation on them. They just sort of do whatever they do if you just press the button. So there's no like holding back and hitting short or heavy or medium, and it does a different version of that attack. With the exception of down, because like down would do that pop up. That's kind of in line with Guilty Gear Strive, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel superheroes, all those kind of games. Alright, link attacks. So just like any modern game nowadays, it's just an ABC combo, which is light, medium, heavy. So boom, boom, and then boom. But if you do it in succession, it does a combo. Alright. Now this is what I was talking about. Each of the strengths, you can do a link attack also. So you could do something similar to what I just did by just actually it goes into a super, or not a super, but a special, attack. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. They do give you attack as well. So I forgot about that. And they actually have these two other buttons on the top here. One does your like sort of unique move. I forget what they call that attack, but I don't know what the manual way of inputting that would be. Let's see. Yeah, they have it to where you can switch it to, yeah, so if I wanted to do the trick shield, that right there, that's what I was doing. I was just pressing R1. So what's kind of cool is they do have motion inputs. So if I wanted to know what the motion input of that is instead of the manual way, you can switch to that. And then when you go to unique, it's still the same. So I don't think there's a, I was trying to see if it was a combination of buttons, you know, to replace that. But it is just a an extra button. So this isn't like a 3-button fighting game. This is like literally like you're going to use every button on a standard gamepad. You know, like all the triggers, all the shoulder buttons, everything does something. Some of them are macros, but this is a specific, you know, button that I'm trying to think of. Maybe like what is that game? Injustice that has something similar. They have like a unique button where that'll do a mechanic of some sorts. You know, but in this case, Captain America does the shield there, and if you do it in the air, it throws it down. If you do down, it does this, but if you do it back, he does that little block, and I think it does like blocks projectiles or something. But as I was saying, so yeah, you can also do your special attacks by just pressing the trigger. So that's the special attack button, and just like Smash Bros and DNF Duel, and I mean all these different fighting games, they kind of do this now. Grand Blue, you press a direction and it'll do that move, you know, based on what direction you're pressing when you initiate the special attack. But they do allow for motion inputs, and so that's what this is going to look like when you end up doing them. You know, you can do a fireball forward, dragon punch, fireball back, down, down. And so instead of pressing like down in this button, I could do down, down in the attack button, like that. But you would think that it would allow you to adjust the strength. So the way that they do the specials, they only give you 2 strengths. So medium and light. So if I want to throw the shield, that's the, you know, the light one, but then here's the medium one. It goes in the air, but there's no heavy one, right? Same thing with the dragon punch. You know, there's a light, and then there's the medium one, and then but there's no heavy. So, you know, and that's the one thing that I get a little annoyed with on these modern fighters is like you know, it takes away some options when you want to, you know, do some different strengths when you just press a direction and a button. You know, I think the way they compensate for that though is like if you hold the special button and then press like light or medium, that's how you'll do the big one. So that kind of, yeah, that's how they do it. You know, I mean, it's like I almost feel like it's almost unnecessary to do the motions at this point, you know, because you really get like it doesn't come out any faster, I don't think. Like, you know, I'm able to just do this by just holding and mashing the buttons instead of, you know, jumping and doing like fireball, you know, and dragon punch. They come out just the same speed, so I don't think that it feels any different to have the motions. Now, maybe that, I don't know, that's something I noticed about this game. So, but anyhow, here's the over to dashes. So again, you can do forward, that's the manual way to do it, back, or just tap the top shoulder button, which is just a macro. It's already mapped, so you don't have to do the inputs, just press a button. And aerial dash we just did, so just there, go back. Alright, let's run up. Okay, so the launcher. So this is where it starts to feel a little bit like Marvel, but this is probably the only similarity, and it's just when you do the launching attack. Now I know Guilty Gear Strive has this. It's a bit floaty. Doesn't feel exactly like Marvel, where like, you know, as soon as you hit it, you chase them up and just kind of, you know. But it's there, you know, and I think that's just kind of like a little nod to the Marvel game, which is surprising because, you know, a lot of people thought that Capcom at this point would be doing a new Marvel game after sort of the sort of abysmal reception to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I didn't mind that game too much, but you know, I don't think it was as fun as the previous Marvel versus titles. But we got the pop-ups, and then you can just go into a combo by just mashing some buttons, or you can pop them up and do an A, B, C, you know, combo, or pop them up and do like a mash, mash, jump, mash, you know, to interrupt, do a jump cancel into extending your aerial combos. So that's kind of cool. But let's just go ahead and finish this here. Yeah, and then it just knocks them down. Alright, so skills, we kind of already covered this, but this is just the specials. You know, if I want to do the input, I do a fireball motion, or I can do down on the trigger, or down on a button, like that. I just don't understand why they don't give heavy some kind of a, you know, strength for your specials. I don't know. But there we go, I'm going to do that. Get that done. Soaring Justice, this is just the back. He has a aerial one and a vertical one. You can do it in the air as well. But if you do it, it just goes down at the angle. Like, there's not one that just goes straight forward. Yeah, and there's no heavy version of it. And then Soaring Justice is the Dragon Punch. But you could just do that, you know, right there, forward and the special button. Alright, so let's see. Pressing triangle changes the properties of the skill. So this is how I guess you get away with doing an EX version of the move. I don't know if you do 2 buttons. Yeah, see, it doesn't do... If I do 2 buttons, it doesn't do... Oh, and dash, by the way, is actually medium and circle. That's the dash. Oh, that's a run-up throw? What the heck? Wow, I didn't realize that. So that's kind of cool. So if you press medium and heavy at the same time, it does a run-up, and it does that throw. Which is normally the throw. That's kind of weird. So in normal fighting games, if you're looking at a PS5 layout, where you have square, triangle, circle, and X, square and X is typically going to be the throws, which would be like the shorts and Street Fighter button layouts, which, you know, Street Fighter button layouts, they have 3 punches, 3 kicks. The smallest or the lightest strength would be the square and X. And that's usually the throw, but that does a different mechanic in this game. But if you do the medium and heavy in here, it does that run-up throw. Huh, interesting. So, but let's follow what they're asking us to do here. So if you just hit R2 like that, it'll do a normal hit. Or that's throwing the shield, isn't it? Yeah. And then if you do triangle with R2, it does the aerial one. But is it taking a meter? No. Because I know, like, if you do, like... Yeah, see, that's an EX one. If you do... That's how EX moves work in here. EX moves, if for those that aren't familiar, are basically when you have, like, a fireball, but you want to have, like, an enhanced version of it that maybe does multiple hits or whatnot. In this game, they don't have it to where if you do a fireball and then press the 2 punches together, for example, or 2, you know, attack buttons together, it, you know, it doesn't enhance it. But what does enhance it is using the special button and the heavy button. So if I did, see that there, and then if I did, like, trying to see if, like, because I'm in the training or the tutorial, it doesn't give me a meter, but I think, like, it's gonna eat up a meter when you use those enhanced moves. So interesting. Alright, so they just want us to do the moves from the other side here, so we're just gonna kind of follow suit here. Alright. I'm blown away that you just press those 2 buttons and it does a run-up throw. But it looks so ambiguous, like you could just see it, you know? Like you see it coming from a mile away. Super skill. So this is your supers. You know, a la Injustice 2. You know, you press 2 buttons together and it does a super. Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1, you press the 2 buttons at the top and it does like their X-ray super or whatever. But in this case, it's going to be the special and what's considered to be the unique button. I don't know what they call that. Actually, let's see what do they call that button. Yeah, it's just called unique, that top button. Alright, so you press those together, do a super. Boom. That's what a super looks like. I'm assuming if you do a different direction, you'll do a different, like the different version of the super. But the way they have it in here, if I do a repetitive combo with the light button, it goes into a special. But if I do a combo just using the medium button, it'll go into a super. And then if you do it with the heavy, it goes into like the ultimate. So that's how that works. Alright. You know, the only thing about, I think the only downside to when you're doing stuff like this in these types of modern fighting games is that I don't think it's a good way, or at least a player is not going to be mindful of the meter management, because it's going to eat up your meter doing all these fancy things if you're just mashing the buttons. And I get it, the whole premise of it is so that, you know, all players of varying skills can kind of, you know, be entertained and have fun with their interactivity with the characters. But, you know, when you're playing these type of games, especially tag fighting games, you've got to be very knowledgeable and pay attention to a lot of like your resource management, because, you know, once you run out of meter, you're not going to be able to do all those cool moves, and then you're just mashing buttons, just, you know, doing normal like punches and stuff. So, you know, that's just sort of food for thought. Blocking, yeah, we know what blocking is. We just hold that. You got air blocking. That's kind of a must for tag fighting games. You know, well, I don't think with if you didn't have air blocking, you'd have a really hard time getting out of situations. All right, so let's go ahead and do our dashes here. Okay, unique. So we did sort of cover that. Again, this is just pressing the top shoulder button, R1, in a direction, and Captain America does, he's got one just in neutral, forward, and then back does that shield one there, and I believe that does block like some projectiles and reflects them back at an opponent. Throws, so yeah. So that again is, see, I don't know if they explain that it makes you run up to them. See, it just says when close to an opponent, a throw is going to, when at a distance. Oh, never mind, it says it right there. Your character will move a certain distance closer before performing the throw. Yeah, that's dangerous. I don't like that. I don't like that I'd rather be able to do a dash and throw. Like, I don't like that they automatically make you dash. You know, if I wanted to do a throw myself, I could do that. I could accomplish that by using a dash. That was a dash, by the way. Now this is just like a throw. So like if I just go up here and just do this, you know, I don't know. You can see that coming a mile away. That's way too slow. And then you can change like sides too with the throws if you hold back. But yeah, I kind of don't like I don't like that. Yeah, because like, what if you just want to bait a throw? Like if you're back here, you know, like there's nothing that you can't like backdash and there's no way to interrupt that animation. It's just gonna run, so you're gonna mess yourself up, you know, and run into like a projectile or something when you're just trying to throw. Like say the character's like right here where Captain America's standing right here, and then I want to like, you know, dash up and then you know say that. I don't like that. All right, so here's his ultimate. So the ultimate again is just going to be like doing the top buttons and forward. It goes into his ultimate. Not your big, like, you know, level 3 super where you'll use most of your super meter, yada yada yada. So. All right, link attack version. What is this? Link chain. The chain link attack includes a skill in the combo and ends with an ultimate skill. Oh, yeah, so this is just what I was saying earlier. So that looks like on the bottom right corner here, left corner rather, that's going to be how many bars of meter it's going to take in order for you to use and execute your like big super. So at 125, and what is that? 1, 2, 3, 5 little tick clicks there. That's going to go into you know, the big super. So, but you can do that a combo into that by just smashing on the heavy attack, and he goes into there. And there you go. That does some pretty decent damage. I wonder. Let's see. How did he do? He did that right there. So. I'm sure you can manually do that, but oh. Oh, I see. So you can use heavy to do projectiles and your... I didn't realize that. It's just that in the beginning of the tutorial, you don't have any meter. So if you have meter there, that's how you doing an EX. Okay, so it's not using the special button and, you know, which is R2 and one of the strengths, you know, attack strengths. It's just like if I do a fireball, it's going to do the EX version of that. If I do it in the air, okay, I got it. And then dragon punch, okay. So that's how that works. But that takes a lot. Look at that. It takes like 25 per attack. So you'll eat up that meter. Like that means that you can only do like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 EX moves with a full meter like that. So. Alright, so what's next here? Go back to wherever Iron Man is. Alright. It just wants us to block. It's just teaching you how to, you know, do the stuff on both sides. I think that's cool. I think fighting games should do that, like, so that you get more accustomed to not being taught how to do certain attacks and things on one side only. You know, especially if you're doing manual inputs or motion inputs. Alright. Shield card. There we go. Alright. Oh. Super. I'm just trying to get the tutorial up enough to where I can kind of, you know, okay, so this has got a full meter and it wants us to kind of beat him up. So this way you can kind of see like the lay of the land here where you're combining all the things that they show you in the tutorial. So if I do a ABC chain into a dragon punch, you know, that's that. And then I'm just going into a super. And I don't think it builds your meter back up, but oh yeah, it does. Okay, and then you can just go right into let's see. Oh, there you go. Alright, so this is when you're going to start incorporating the tag. So here's what makes the tagging aspect of this game unique. So in this game, you start off with your point character and one of the additional characters that you add to your team. You get a total of 4 characters. But the way it starts you off is that you only have access to one extra character as far as tagging them in for an assist or calling them out to do an active tag where you can keep that character out and use them instead of the, you know, the first character. But the way it works is that there's conditions that you have to meet in order to unlock the additional characters. So I think on this team we have Storm and Star-Lord, but you see how they're grayed out? I can't use them yet until I meet whatever that criteria is. And I think it's like things like, you know, if you lose a round or if you catch them with a wall break or something like that, or stage transition. That's how you can unlock the additional characters so that you have access to all 4. So, the goal is to be as aggressive as possible in order to gain access to the rest of your selected team members. So, with that said, we're going to call out, let's see, assemble assist shooter. Attack. The attack can hit opponents even at a distance, creating an opportunity to approach them. So that's just basically going to be like an assist where the character hits them in a vertical manner so that you can dash at them, attack, doing an additional hit that lunges at them, or a projectile or something, and I mean exactly what it says, a symbol assist shooter. So alright, and then but if you press a direction or just press the X button in neutral, that's your tag button. So that doesn't do anything as far as like an attack, unless you're, it calls it an assist out. But what I'm saying is, like, if say your assist is on cooldown and you can't, call them out, pressing that X button isn't going to do anything. It's just going to be sort of a static button until the assist is available to use. So keep that in mind. And they have 2 different buttons mapped for tagging. I think it's like the L2 trigger and X are the tag buttons. But based on if you hit neutral, back, down, and I think forward or something like that, that'll call, the different variations of the characters out. Alright, so X. And then if you want to keep them out, see, they give you that little meter to let you know that if you hold it, that's how you switch to the character. And then now I'm Miss Marvel here. Right, so... And this is really the only way in the beta to kind of practice like some of the other characters, because like you can't, they don't have a training mode. And then I'm doing some extra things here, but just trying to give you the idea of like how the tagging works when you're just calling a person out. So see, I'm just ABC tag, and I can hold it, and then now Captain is out. All right, a symbol rush. So they also have an auto combo, where you can call out an assist. So as soon as like I press hit medium attack and then press X, the other character will come out. So I did 2, so let's see. But you can also do heavy, press X and then the teammate will come out. But they just want you to do medium and press and then hold, and then now I'm Miss Marvel. Alright, assemble smash. So this is where the game gets a little confusing, but also kind of fun. So like they showed us earlier, if I just press X, I'm going to call out an assist, and if I hold it in time, I'll be Captain America. But they have this mechanic here, that little orange thing. There's a back version of it, and then just pressing it in neutral. But it does that lunging attack, and it calls out an assist where you do this this mechanic called the assemble smash. Now, that flashing bar up at the top there, the green, you're limited to however many of those are. So if you have 3 up there, that's going to eat up those bars per character or per transition if you're swapping out the guys, your team members. So, again, when you make a game too button mashy, players aren't going to be aware of the meter management aspect of the game because they're just mashing the buttons. So you have to keep that in mind. And now that we're going to the next part of the tutorial here, it's giving us 3 bars, or 2 bars rather. So that means that now I've unlocked the additional, cast member or team member there. So I got Storm in the mix here. So, okay, so assemble, assist vertical. So just like we have, I was saying vertical earlier, I meant horizontal. Vertical, straight up and down, obviously. That's going to be like where you call out somebody, and they either come from the top down or from the bottom up. But it just they're going to attack this way. So if you're attacking a person this, like on a combo like this, but you call an assist this way, see how Storm does that little uppercut? So it'll look something sort of like, like that. me see what it looks like when I call out Captain America. I guess it's only her. Anyhow, and then, you know, wait. Want to keep the character out, you hold X. No, just like before. Oh, I'm not pressing down exactly. I think I'm just hitting X. Because they want you to do a grounded vertical assist, which will do like that, like an uppercut or, you know, whatever. All right, assemble counter. So this is a cool thing. I think like they give you a lot of offensive options when you're transitioning your team members into the fight by using this mechanic here, that assemble thing, where you just basically press the light and the X, or a light and a tag button together. They have a thing where, so like if I'm getting attacked, yeah, it's sort of like a counter, like I can counter some kind of projectile or an attack coming towards me. And you get a really strong window of time if they're doing like a slow, ambiguous move like that. So, crossover. Oh, I like this. This actually helps out a lot. So, if you're blocking, because they don't have like a push block in a game like this would mean that if I'm blocking, I can press a set of buttons and like say forward, and it'll push them. I could, you know, like sort of lunge into them, but being protected by the block. And you can do that with multiple hits. So if somebody is trying to hit you with like a multi-beam projectile or something like that, you can do a push block and just hold forward and press like 2 of the buttons together to keep pushing away that attack. Well, I don't think they have that in here, so the way they compensate for that is if you block, you can counterattack. And that wasn't it. It looks like that, and it'll immediately bring in your character, and you'll, you know, go into like a launcher, you know, and then you can kind of continue something after that. Crossover reflect. So this is sort of like the answer to that. So this is a counter to the counter. So if I am being attacked and I'm blocking an attack and I call in my crossover assist, the opponent can then counter by sending their tag guy in, but then I can counter that. So it's like a counter to a counter, sort of. So if I did this, see, he's gonna counter me by bringing out his assist. So you can counter his counter assist, basically. So here, and then you press the, you know, the counter reflect button again, or combination of buttons again. So press. It's a pretty quick timing because you have to do it as soon as that flash happens. Yeah, and there you go. So before, like right as they're bringing in their character, I can press my counter assist and, you know, bring an additional character out to kind of thwart their efforts. I don't know if you can counter that counter, but it looks like it's maybe a 1-2, like a 3-way trade, I guess. I don't know. Assemble smash follow-up. When you gain more allies, you gain access to a follow-up with X. Okay, so yeah, so as you know, now that we've got like 3 characters in total we can interact with. If I do this here, I can do basically like a combo with the tag assist by just hitting X at the corresponding times. So basically, like as soon as you smash, you hit X, and the other character will come out and do an attack. And then once you get access to like all 4, you can continually do that with each, you know, character on your team. So this one right here is going to be a different circumstance here. So let's see, what is it going to make us do? Oh, it's just going to do doing it on the other side. And see, you can like do that really like early too. Like if you see like a charged up move like that, you can just really, you know, visually it's pretty ambiguous. All right, so blocking, crossover. Now keep in mind, doing all these things eat up these meters, so you know you only have the ability to do them only, you know, so many times before you aren't able to do it. But I haven't really paid attention to how fast those meters get built up. So Okay, link attack and ally follow-up. So, doing an auto combo basically, you can call out a teammate and they can do some kind of follow-up attack. So, let's take a look at that. Alright, so we're going to be doing Storm's little right there, right? And then if I do, say, it's just going to call them out. So gathering allies, triggering a break again reunites you with your final ally. Okay, once you have the entire team at your side, you can reach the maximum possible capacity for your skill gauge and assemble gauge. Okay. So I guess the skill gauge is, what is the skill gauge? I'm trying to determine what the skill gauge is, what's that considered. Alright, let's see. I guess the skill gauge is the bottom, the supers, I don't know. And the assemble gauge is the top, you know, ones with the 3 bars, the top under your life bar. Assemble, assist, assault. While grounded, calls for your final ally to perform the assemble, assist, assault attack. Man, that's a lot of A's. This is a powerful attack unique to each character. Okay. So, we're going to call out a person, and then we're just going to switch to them? Yeah, that's all. So this is just teaching you like how to keep out the specific character you want to use in the transition of your tag, I guess. Okay, full assemble smash. So this is where you know, like in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, maybe 1. I don't remember if you can keep or in 2XKO they've got something in there called fuses where you can pick like the way your tagging and your attacks work with your tag characters that you're using. One of those fuses does a thing where like you can do like continual supers by switching in and out between the 2 characters. So like if I did a super and it's hitting them, I can input the motion for the other character to come in and do their super, you know, back and so on and so forth. I think that's what this is right here. So rather than like doing some kind of complicated motion, they're just going to have you press X each time a person is doing something. So do that. Oh, that's well, okay. That's just for the tagging. A super assemble. That's the one I'm talking about. The other thing I just did is just like when you want to do the, you know, just alternate the tagging between each character, and then they each get a hit before the final character gets the final hit. That's all. But this is the one where I think like it allows you to do like the supers, and then if you just, it's so stupid simple. Like you just input super, and then you just hold X, and then watch as each character transitions and does their super. So it's, you know, it's sort of like everybody can have access to do that. And it looks fancy, but I don't know, just in some people's minds it's just kind of it's sort of that's where the mechanics of the game kind of bother some people, where they feel like the mechanics are so like automated that it's like you're not even controlling anything that's going on there. So anyways, this is what it looks like. I'm just gonna hit the super, and I'm literally just gonna hold X. I'm not letting go of the button, and it's just gonna, you know, and that's what this one here is going to do. It's going to do the same thing here. It's going to hold X, and it's going to just go to each character. The super meters get drained, and the assemble meters also get drained as you're doing that. And that's literally what that is. So, you know, if you want to basically cash out all your resources after you have them all full, that's the way you'd be able to do it. Alright, so now it's just going to be calling out an assist, calling out a grounded assist, calling out another grounded assist. And so that's how you know, you can kind of alternate when characters are kind of coming out. So you can essentially like have all 4 people out at, you know, once. Alright, so now that we've gone through all of those mechanics, now it's kind of like, alright, Okay, I'm gonna hold my X button and go into that. And see if it does one more. Yep. You know, I mean, it's cool. It's got that sort of like Smash Brothers mentality. You know, just kind of easy to play, complex on the things that you're doing. But I just don't see that being like sustainable over time for people who take these types of games seriously. So, me personally, I don't mind it, but I think there needs to be some adjustments and tweaks to some of that. So far, I don't like the fact pressing the throw button, or you know, the combination of buttons. That really bothers me because that really can mess you up. Because you know, the intention of a throw is that you're trying to set them up for, you know, your mix-up. So like, say you're attacking them high, going low, and you know, and then they're dashing up to you. You know, you want to manually dash rather than just pressing the throw button for it to automatically run up for you and then do the throw. Because I think it'll give away. Well, one, it'll leave you exposed. You know, because you're literally, you can't stop the run. Once it's triggered, it just dashes forward. There's no like interrupting the run, and that's where I think like why they might need to implement something that allows you to do wave dashing, because if you can't interrupt your dashes, you're going to leave yourself open a lot. So that works there, right? I was like behind him, and maybe like a character that has like a teleport, that would be really good to have that dash throw. But let's say I just want to, you know, like that right there was a perfect wanting to just do like an attack or something, and it runs up and does a, you know, throw, and I get hit out of it. So even calling anybody out of how the mechanics work, and you're strategic on your placement of your attacks and stuff. You know, you can pull off some pretty decent comebacks. Alright, looks like we're having some connectivity issues right now. Hopefully the game will restore itself here in just a moment. Yeah, my internet has not been very nice today, so let's do this. Let me go to like the CPU to see if this resolves itself here shortly. One moment while I take a look at something on my end. I'll be right back with you. Well, unfortunately, it looks like we're still not able to get the video stream back up. So my apologies for that. We've had some bad weather out here today, and it's been kind of messing with the internet. I may have to come back for a session, but what I'll do is once we'll fight the CPU for a little bit, and then we'll try our luck at doing some, you know, online matches if the internet decides to behave. So. Alright, until then, I will be right back, guys.